for joining. I know that it is a wonderful, gosh, what day is it today? Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. So I don't know if you guys have been following along, but there have been a lot of happenings going on here in Monterey. We got here on the 1st. On the 2nd, we did our boat inspections, and we passed our boat inspections, which is really exciting. We did our food first, which is really, really big. And then we did our boat inspections next day, which we got that perfectly aligned up, which you have to pass those in order to be able to get in the water. So those are like the first hurdles that you have to do. And then from there we had to get in the boat, get in the water, which was yesterday. And we had a minor mishap. We were the first boat to attempt to launch, and our boat, as they were lowering it down into the water, it came off the trailer. So really big, really scary. Luckily, we have an older boat. There is a thick piece that runs along the bottom of these boats of the older makes, and that's what protected it when it slammed into the ground. Because if not, we'd be having a cracked boat and we'd be coming home. So luckily, we got that pulled out. We got it loaded up onto the trailer. We put some putty in some of the small holes and cracks that it did get, which were not a big deal. And so we got that taken care of. And so we finally launched yesterday afternoon, and we are now here sitting in our final position before we launch on Monday, which is supposed to be at 10:30.
Hi, Cindy. I know that my doctor just got approved and credentialed with you guys. I forgot to get.
Went ahead and muted her.
Oh no, that's good. I'm glad to hear work's still going on. I haven't obviously been on, so I'm really glad to hear that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, and we'll be here.
Did we lose her?
I think she's just frozen.
Yeah.
She might come back. We'll see. She
Hopefully.
has the worst luck with Teams. Oh,
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know why, as soon as I turn the camera, but so this is where our boat will sit for the remainder. We will go out on a couple test rows. As you can see, this is the other mixed pair team next to us. Yep, these are the Pacific Floaters. They are awesome. We went to dinner last night, and they're going to be a really cool contender we got this year. And then as you can see going down the line, they're the list of the other 14 teams that we've got. So, yeah, so we're all here ready to get going. And so I would say, is there anything that I can show you on the boat that you guys want to see? I'm ready for questions. Whatever you guys would like to see or ask, shoot away.
So how much weight of stuff? So I'm I'm following you now on Insta and TikTok, or Insta and Facebook, and I'm obsessed. So how much weight does it hold? Because you got a lot of stuff you're putting in this boat.
It holds a lot. So we've got right here. So these are our rowing positions. So right here, this is the front next to the stern. So this is the stern cabin. And that's where Owen will be living. This is the bow cabin where I'll be living. And this is my seated position. So underneath my feet here, this is where our life raft is. And our life raft is very tight, very heavy in here. As you guys can see, let me try and do this. So as you can see, it is snug. There's no room in there. So trying to get that sucker out. Let's hope we don't have to use it, which is kind of fun. And then over here, we've got our anchors. So in this one, we're going to have a normal anchor. And then we've got some droges. Those orange things are droge anchors that we can put in the water to kind of help slow us down. Or if we're turning, it can kind of help get a little bit of drag. We've never used them on an actual crossing. That is full of chain right there, that bag. So that's for the anchor. Here we've got some more anchor and retrieval line, and we've got to have like a ton. And then over here is our para anchor. So when we have to if we
Give it a minute.
you've got one compartment here, you've got one compartment here, you've got one underneath these bags, and then one here. And as you can see, this is where all of our food goes. So this back cabin, as you can see, it's pretty deep in there. And our food weighs, I mean, my food alone weighs 212 pounds. And that's for 4,000 calories a day. My teammate has twice as much. So we're talking probably about, 600 pounds just in food alone. And then, so you've got that with your.
I think she froze again. I was gonna ask you, I don't know if she can hear me, how much the total weight is.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Total weight, we're sitting right now at like, the boat alone is like 1,000 pounds. So I think after everything is said and done, I think we're closer to like 2.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah, so it's a
That's
little.
a lot of pushing.
Yeah, it's heavy. Let's see.
I don't know why.
So
but I was
here-
thinking you were gonna say a much bigger number than that. I don't know why. I was like thinking like 6,000 pounds in my mind.
No, it's there. We make them as light as possible. These are carbon fiber boats. So they're made, like the boat we have is made for an ocean racer boat. And so this is the fastest boat so far on the market, essentially, if you want to try and get a win or set a world.
I don't know, I just feel like you have like 26 anchors.
So they're made pretty
Like all I hear is anchor.
yeah,
That boat is
no, thank God, that's way too heavy. Yeah, no, we have the one steel anchor, and then we have the para anchor, and that's just like a canvas material. So it's the line that weighs the most. The line is really heavy. And then we've got this, which is our water maker. So this is a desalinator. So this is how we convert the ocean water into fresh drinking water. So we don't have to carry, obviously, there's no way we could carry enough water on this boat to be able to sustain us for 60 days. So this we will turn on and use probably every day in order to create enough water when we cross. And we'll have about, it's mandatory to have 20 liters of water at your boat to drink at all times. And then we'll have some extra just in case we can't run our water maker if there's not enough sun, because our batteries have to be resupplied and they charge by these solar panels that are on top of both ends. And so we have to be very calculated in how we preserve our water, how we do things like that. And then over here, in this other compartment, these are our batteries. So as you can see, these are 2 huge like lithium batteries. And that is what we store the power that we charge in order for us to make water and to run our GPS equipment, which is really nice. But as you can see out here, it's a very overcast day because of the marine layer that is in Monterey. And this is what it's going to be like for the first 2-3 weeks. So getting enough sun rays in order to get enough through our solar panels to power our batteries is going to be very, very important. And because if you don't have enough sun, you can't recharge. So then we come into some other issues, right? But then when we do have good days, we have, if you can see, I'll show you my cabin. We got an extra solar panel. We have this extra solar panel here at the top that we, oops, let me see, that we've fixed up there. And we'll take that out and we can put it along the side so we can try and get as much charge in our batteries as possible when there isn't enough sun for the other days. So we can just try and keep our batteries at maximum efficiency. And here is the cabin. Let's see. Hold on a second. So that's my sleeping cabin. As you can see, it's not overly huge. Underneath this, underneath we've got like, let me see, we've got some storage under here, under the entire thing. So like this first one is the easiest to get to. So hold on a second. So underneath this first pad is this storage container, which is the biggest of all of them underneath me. And this has like all of our spares, like that we're gonna have to need. Like it's got our extra water jugs that are collapsible. We've got, these are our auto helms, which you turn those on and they will keep your heading. So that way we don't have to manually steer the boat. We just put it on a heading and then that's how we row through the night and stuff like that, which makes snacks in here. Our first aid kits in the bottom in here. We've got extra medicine and like just things that we might need.
I love
like I
that you
have
flossers.
gum. I know.
love that you have flossers. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've got some flossers. I've got about 20 packs of gum. I can't go anywhere without my gum. I'm like, I don't know if 20 packs is enough. I might have to get a few more. Let's see what else we got. We got some salt tabs, like for dehydration and stuff, to make sure we have our electrolytes. We have our like our laundry soap, since we have to do laundry, batteries, you know, what have you. This is the cabin or the compartment we'll probably get into the most out of the storage besides the food. So you kind of keep what's going to make the most sense in here. Because this is
How do
the
you do laundry?
easiest accessible one. How do we do laundry? So we, as you can see, there are two buckets right here. So the top bucket is, well, my bucket for restroom purposes. And then this is our clean water bucket. And so when we make our water, we will fill this and then we'll put laundry soap in it. And you just wash your clothes. And then as you can see here, we hang them all across this line. So it'll just dry as best as it can, which doesn't always work when it's not sunny. So they kind of always are a little damp. And they usually have a ton of soap in them. So, you know, it's a little itchy.
Starchy. A little starchy.
But that's the best system that we found. So we wash our clothes, or at least on the Atlantic, we washed our clothes every, I think every 3 days, because I have enough clothes for 5 days, which is 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of leggings in order to help with the abrasion from sitting. So that way you don't get chafing sores and stuff like that. And then I've got 3 long sleeve tops. So within 5 days, I will, 3 days you wash it so you have enough for it to dry for the next 2. And then usually in 2 days, it will be dry enough so you can keep going through your rotation the best you can, really.
Speaking of clothing, Jayme, is it like Denver where you need layers? Like for certain parts of the day, you start out with one set of clothes and throughout the day you go, Denver style.
So on this, it's going to be a little different. So we've got like our foul weather gear. So for the first like 3 weeks, it's going to be cold and wet. So we have these big like jackets, and I've got these big bibs to keep me dry, and they're very hot. they're very hot inside. And inside of that, I always wear the exact same clothes. I wear my long hiking pants. I wear a long sleeve UPF 50 shirt with the hood. And then I've got my hat and I've got my hood on at all times. So that way I can't get sunburnt. That way I'm fully protected. And then if I need, I will have like a fleece jacket, or I'll have the foul weather gear if, you know, because that works. It's waterproof. It's a 4-layer thick waterproof membrane. So you'll be dry from that. So it will be a layered top-ish system, but the bottoms, usually hiking pants will dry within, you know, maybe 10 minutes. So I don't even worry about that. But most people row in as little clothing as possible to help with the chafing and stuff like that. It's pretty common for people to row naked and things like that, or just in their skivvies at night, in order to not have as much abrasion and stuff like that. And you're not going to get sunburnt. Yeah. So they'll do that in order to get some breathability and all the things, you know, but I am fully dressed at all times in the same outfit.
One other quick question. Will you be wearing a GoPro at any way possible?
We will have a GoPro on board. To wear it, unfortunately, like the best place to wear it is like your head or your chest if you were to wear it. And the problem is when you sit in this rowing position, this is what you look at all day. Like this. Like you go back and forth. I mean, there's not really much. So it's really boring because it can't capture what you're doing. So what we do is we affix the like when we've affixed the GoPro to the end of our oars before when we go in the water, so you can kind of see what's under there. That isn't always the best. Usually what the best thing to do is we'll set up the GoPro to capture like sunsets, sunrises, certain things at every time throughout the day to capture those little things for an entire story of the row. And then we'll put it on sticks and like shove it in the water in case like a fish comes by to capture the fish and things like the marine life. But it doesn't have a wide enough angle to really capture us rowing very well, unfortunately. They have these 360 view cameras though that some teams have, and those are much better tools to really get what the ocean looks like, what your rowing looks like as a crew. GoPros just don't have the capability, unfortunately, yet.
Well, I was thinking like sort of like a reality show, like you and your boatmate would be both have a camera, and we'd be able to document the emotions on the ocean.
I'll do things like this. I'll do a daily recording throughout. And if you go on my Facebook, you'll see the entire last row, and you'll see like when I've spoken about different things, like what day it is and like the different hurdles that we have. This time it's been required per my media team that I have to do it every day. So there's gonna be a lot more like frivolous nonsense that's coming out of me this time. But it'll be good because it actually captures like what your dietary things are looking like, you know, if you're having issues, you know, just aboard kind of the morale of how everything's going. The first 3 weeks, everyone's a little leery because it's going to be really rough conditions. And so that'll be interesting to see how the morale stays on the boat to get through those first 3 weeks. And then the last kicker is about the last 100 miles. You will come up, so about 25-ish miles, you can see land from the boat. So you're going to see Oahu first. But then you have to row past Oahu. So you'll see it 25 miles out, and then you'll see it really close. And then you'll see it as you pass it 25 miles. And then you've got like another like 50 miles before you get to Kauai. So it's going to be like you see land and then you don't, and you have to get to the next island. So the safety team is already like preparing that they are going to have to coax people to just keep going to the next island.
Okay, I'll make sure to follow you on Facebook. I look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we'll post a lot there. We'll also have my teammate, his wife. Her name is Marianne Gray. My teammate's name is Owen. And she is like our team social media person. So she will tag anything that I send in live from the boat. She will be tagging on our Facebooks and stuff. So then that way everyone can see kind of the live feeds as they're coming on the water. To keep everyone to see like the hurdles if we see any fish, which right now is the humpback migration. So the cool thing is they're seeing like 10, 15 whales right now on the whale watching charters they're doing because of the migration. So we should hopefully get to see those as we cross, which will be really cool. The boat next to me that I showed you, Pacific Floaters, they're hoping for great whites, and I told them hope all you want on your boat. We are not wishing to see them on my boat. So
Jayme, you have to come back with some sharks for Lone Peak, okay? Because that's what I want to see.
okay, if I see them, I will get some footage for you, and I'll definitely bring them back for you
Do
if
it
I
for
can.
the team,
But
Jayme.
yes, I will do my best. I did forget to show you guys. So another thing so that people always want to know is like how we so this is my teammate's cabin. And it is, so as you see, it's a lot different than mine. His dips down really deep where mine doesn't, because his feet go underneath there. That's where our feet are. That's where our row deck is. So as you can see, this is where all of our communication center is. So it's in his cabin. And in that back, right back there, that back square, that's where you put the auto helm, which attaches to the rudder. And that's how it will keep our heading for us automatically. So we don't have to manually steer. But as you can see, his cabin's it's structured a lot different than mine. So that's why his cabin has no storage really room in it. So that's why underneath my entire thing, it has all the storage underneath it. So it's a little bit different, but that's how our communications and navigation systems are aligned, or in this stern cabin.
After hearing about the stingrays, I think I'd rather have your cabin.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Yes, me too. Me too.
Taller, but it's more protected.
Well, and everything underneath me, like it's packed full, which we have to, I'll show you and see, so you guys can see it. We packed the boat. So, it's got, a lot of weight in the bow. So I don't know if you can see it. Excuse me. So, they've got, if you can see these two boats. So our boat is the American flag. And the Pacific Floaters is the other two-man team. But see how the nose of their boat is out of the water, and see how ours is in the water? That's because we put a lot of weight in the bow underneath me, because in order to get through some of the waves and things better. However, we are very, very heavy in the front right now. So that's what we're spending our time today doing now that we're in the water. We're perfectly balanced in the water as far as left and right goes, but not front to back. So we're going to try and move some of the weight so it balances out a little bit more, because our entire stern is out of the water right now, and we don't want it that far out of the water. So that's what we're trying to find, storage room and space to be able to move the weight around more effectively. So it's going to go through the water a lot better. So that's kind of one of the challenges that we're facing today that we've got to figure out, among some other things that we've got going on. So
I think you're gonna have to get rid of some of your packs of gum. That's gonna do it. I think she froze on my end.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Oh.
She either froze or she didn't like your gum comment. She was like,
I
"That's
know.
gonna be, that's gonna be
I'm
me for
out of
today."
here.
It was the gum. It was the gum.
That's hilarious.
At least it froze with her looking adorable because it
I
always
know,
freezes
it's like-
freezes with me looking like.
That's
I
what
was
wrote
just
here.
going to
She
say
has a
that.
smile
That's
on
like
her
she doesn't
face.
look ugly.
Yes. If you were to get frozen, that is the look. Yes.
Mhm.
At the beach, you know.
Ah.
Oh, there you
Okay,
are.
I am
See you
so
again.
sorry. I lost you. So can you go again? I had to turn off the Wi-Fi. It kind of goes in and out here. So
I
Oh.
said you're gonna have to get rid of some of your gum.
no, I'm sorry. I will not make it on this crossing if I don't. I mean, you want to talk about a morale booster? I will be the crankiest human.
I think
If I
know
don't
your
have that.
return. I think I know what I'm gonna get you for your completion present. It's gonna be like 1,000 packs of gum.
Trust me, that might be gone in the first
Lifetime
week. That's all I'm
supply.
going to do is just be like, perfect. I love it. That'd be fantastic.
Just gonna
Jayme's
put up
like,
a
I'd rather get
Amazon
rid of clothes
subscription
than
to
my
run
gum.
forever. Yeah, clothes. Jamie's gonna be out there naked rowing with gum. That's what she's.
That's what I was gonna say. She did say that she doesn't row naked, but I don't know. But if it's between clothes and gum, well, she'll be naked.
Yep.
Let's be honest. I would give up. I would give that up so I could have my gum because otherwise I'm just like, I just can't make it. I'm throwing myself overboard. I just can't. But the cool thing is the Pacific Floaters next to me, they are planning, if they can, fish. They are going to plan on fishing if they can catch anything while they're out there and eating something. It's not common because bringing that on the boat kind of gets it dirty and things like that. And but they have sailed and they both have also rowed before. So out of the 14 teams, 22 people here in our entire fleet have rowed the Atlantic prior. So it's really big. This year we have like 11 or 12 world records that are getting set. So I mean, this year is huge. It's huge, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so there's some interesting things coming out of this race for sure, which we're really excited about. So
Sounds like you'll be able to beat them because while they're fishing, you'll be rowing. So they can enjoy their fishing trip. We came here to row. Thank you.
I don't know if I ever asked this question, but is it a race? So like not only to finish, but to get there first.
yeah, this is first and foremost a race. It's not quite as competitive when you're a 2-man boat competing against a 4- and 5-man boat. But it is a race and it's still anyone's game when you're out there because sometimes, I mean, you could get caught in a current, which is going to get you slow, and the boat next to you it gets in a different current, you know? And so a 2-man team could win it. I'm just saying it's unlikely, but we will do our best to push for that, or at least I'm going to be pushing for that. So 30 days, here I come.
If somebody can, it's definitely you. With all the things you've done, you can do it.
I hope so. You know, we've got some, oh, I wish I could show you. They're not here right now. So there was a guy who rode solo in our year, and his team, I mean, they walk by and you're just like, they're called Ocean Warriors, which is very fitting. And they're going to be doing, it's a 4-man team. They're going to be doing 10 hours on, 2 hours off. Oh, here's the safety team. There goes the safety team. They're letting people go out on training rows today. So the 4-man teams get to go out and test their equipment, and they're testing the tides and things like that to see like what that's going to look like. Cause we all have to go out within the next 4 days to test our water maker, to test our comms, to test our ARS, which is our tracking on the boat, to make sure other AIS is so that they can locate us within other boats. And like it's like an internal like ship GPS kind of a deal. And so we have to go test all that within the next couple of days. And the 4-man teams have to go out today to test the conditions to see what that reality is going to be looking like for the lesser teams, like 3- and 2-man teams. So they're out testing the water right now.
Jayme, I have a question. Have you guys talked about how the boat gets back to the United States mainland already and I missed that?
No, we haven't talked about it on the call. So when you just to like ship your boats here, which is most teams, all but 3 teams had to ship their boats to Monterey. 3 of the teams got to drive the boats here, which was nice, which we were included, and it was so fantastic. I was so excited. But that you have to have the same logistics planned early on how you are going to, one, ship your trailer to Hawaii in order for the boat to be retrieved on. And then you have to organize how you are going to, who more so is going to ship your boat back. And so a lot of the teams, they work with Rannoch, and Rannoch is the boat maker of like our boat and the majority of the fleet. 12 of the 14 teams are Rannoch boats. There are 2 in a special class, which is an alternative category of boats. So there is a prize for that level. So there are 3 prizes within the race. You've got one for the fastest boat overall. Fastest woman team is an all-woman team. And then you've got fastest alternative boat category. So that is an entirely different section. But majority of these boats are Rannoch. So the majority of people here have organized with Rannoch to take our trailers to Hawaii. And then once we land, we have to do final inspections. We have to clean out the boat, make sure it's ready to ship back. They load it up onto the trailers, and then they will put it into shipping containers, and then it will be shipped back to your respective country, wherever that's going to be. And that cost, I think that cost us about $12,000. So just the shipping, I mean, shipping alone is very, very expensive. I mean, nothing in the sport is cheap, but that's about the cost to ship the boat back from Hawaii.
So Jayme, when you get back, so you have to clean the boat and do all that fun stuff. When does that take place? Like, do you get a couple days to like just kind of rest and eat normal food, or you just back at it?
And well, the rule, or what it's said to happen, is it's supposed to be within 24 hours. You have to, so as soon as you get off the boat, you have to go talk to media. Like they get you off the boat. So in like Antigua, you had to get your passport, and you had to get all that so they could hand it to the race directors, and then they give it to immigration right away to make sure you can come into the country, and they take care of it. So it's not a big deal, not a worry. Here, since we don't have that problem, we can just get off the boat, which is nice. The other teams will have to do that as soon as they land. So what will happen is we were going to have a floating dock. That's not happening anymore. What our finish is going to be is we're going to come into Hanalei Bay. The media team, the safety team, possibly the Coast Guard, they're going to meet us out to help us direct in the last 20 miles. We'll have communications on with the safety team, how you're going to come in, where you're going to need to be hitting. Then when you're like a mile or so out, you're on the phone constantly. Hey, turn here, come in. And we are no longer having a floating dock. So we are actually rowing to the finish line. Once we cross the finish line, we will light our flares. They'll have the flare photos that you guys have seen. And then we will slowly row in with the safety team, which will help guide us to where we need to go, because it's tradition in Hawaii that we will step off of our boat. So once it gets close enough to shore, we will sit on the side of our boat, jump in the water, and then walk up shore. And that's where they give you leis and stuff. Like it's a ritual. So that's how we'll come off the boat. You'll then do your media part with the race team, which is going to be like, how was it? Thanking people, things like that. And immediately following that is when you get to go talk to your family. You have to have your first meal on land. They provide it for you. That lasts about an hour. And then you can go back, take a shower, go do whatever you want. And they give you at that time a time that you need to come back to your boat for the inspection. So it's supposed to be within 24 hours. When we landed in Antigua last time, we got in at 2 a.m. We had to be back to the boat by 11 a.m. In order to clean the boat out, do our inspections in order to get it shipped. So we didn't get much time. So by the time we ate, by the time we got back and I took my 2-hour shower, which I really wanted, I think I got like 2 hours of like decompression before we had to start coming back down again. So it wasn't a lot, but it kind of depends on when you come in. If you're a 4-man team and, the boats are piling up, because 4-man teams are usually closer together, you might have to be down in a really quick fashion like that. But if it's, a couple days before the next boat gets in, you have a little bit more time frame to get down there and to clean the boat and do your inspections before they load it up to ship back.
Gotcha. No rest for the weary.
No, I don't mind that because you can't sleep, right? You can't sleep right when you get off the boat anyway. So to me, it's like, I'd rather be able to go say hi to the family, chill out for a couple hours, just get it done. Because then after that, then you're like, you can breathe, you got nothing left to do. It's now you're done with the race kind of a deal, because also it's very busy. You've got so many people coming and asking questions and wanting to know what it was about, people wanting to buy your boats, people, new teams that are coming the next year that are wanting to see how it went, ask you questions, other teams you're seeing come in. It's very, very, very busy. So it's usually not until, about the next day or so that you can finally really start to relax. And my biggest fear is really the flight home, like 7 hours. I've already told my dad, I'm like, you better get me a wheelchair at the airport this time. I'm not standing and you're going to drug me. Like you're drugging me on the plane. I don't care. Manage me then. I'm out.
That's funny.
I want to start saying that to people. I'm going to need you to manage me.
Right.
Well, it's true. Cause you just, you're slow, like we are so busy here. And when you get there, you're so busy, but you've had no stimulation for such a long time that you are overwhelmed with everything coming at you. And so it's like you're very singular focused because you just can't have all those extra things coming in because your brain just isn't quick enough to handle it. And so it's easier just to be like, hey, someone get my clothes. I'm going to take a shower, make sure they're lined up so I can get dressed, and then it's like, okay, help me. We're going to just walk down to the boat. It's very, very slow. It's like, hey, I need to get some food, make sure my food, like my dad, they have their timeshare and stuff already planned. So he will have like all the kind of foods that I can eat. Like he'll go to the store and he'll buy me fruit and everything like that. So when I get there, all we have to do is he'll have it cut up so I can just sit there and eat. If I need a real meal, they'll go to the store, they'll cook it kind of just so, because it's so much, it's just so much and you're tired, but you can't sleep and you've atrophied all of your muscles and things like that so much that you're kind of weak, even though it's just there and you're in a lot of pain, so it's just a weird feeling that you kind of have all this adrenaline and energy and you want to go, but your body's like, no, no, no. So you've got to have someone really kind of manage that stuff. So it just makes it so you don't become really, really overwhelmed and have to isolate and stuff like that.
Do you think you would benefit from a recovery IV once you land on the actual shore?
I don't think so. So some people might, but where I came off the boat last time, I had no issues. I look the exact same that I do now. I was walking. A lot of people have problems walking when you get off the boat because you got sea legs. I didn't have that. The only thing I had is I couldn't bend forward. If I bent too far over to pick something up, I would do a header. That depth perception, I didn't have that. So it was rough trying to get out of chairs. I was like, nope, I'm over. So, but in terms of your back, the compression on your spine, and that's something that astronauts, they struggle with. It's when you have to, when you don't have any of that compression because you're kind of rocking with the waves, what it does is it actually opens up all the vertebrae in your back. And since you're not having to stand, everything kind of gets stretched out, which is how it's supposed to be. So when you actually have to stand again, you've used a different back muscle to row, but you don't have any of those debilitating muscles that you need to walk. So now you're compressing everything again, and you have muscles you haven't used in 2 months, and it makes it really painful to compact everything again. And so a lot of teams struggle with that. And then you've got the hands, obviously, but that's none of those things I think can be done with IVs because most people don't get off the boat dehydrated, a little malnourished, but not weak from malnourishment or anything like that. So I don't know. It might be good to have like, I don't know, one of their potassium IVs. I could see how that might be helpful just to maybe balance out a little bit of electrolyte depletion. But honestly, I don't know. They haven't offered it. So, I mean, I'm sure if they offered it, I'd be like, yeah, sign me up. Whatever. I'll try anything once.
Hopefully you could get a sponsorship.
You know, that's what we try constantly. So, you know you never know what you might find.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really excited when we get there, because this is the first time ever that this starting point and the end point are going to be where they're at. So that alone is really, really cool. So the communities that are coming together, like we've had people here the entire week coming by. When we did our race for the Atlantic, it was a COVID year. So nobody really, like any of the public, they couldn't come in really and talk to you. They couldn't come close to your boat. You were very isolated. Here, they have it opened up so the public can walk through, they can see the boats, they talk to all the teams. It's very interactive, which is really cool, because in the States, people don't know what this is. And so it's really getting that community together. And that's what's going to happen in Hawaii. Like, it's a huge party that pretty much will shut down that portion for people when they get off the boats and stuff. And when we launch, it's going to be another kind of thing. And so everyone's kind of getting together. The communities are coming. So it'll be really exciting. So maybe we might get some sponsorships. You never know. I can keep hoping. But good news is that later today, there is going to be an amazing announcement, and should be a link in the chat for everyone. And we really, really would love it if you guys would listen to it. Steph does an amazing podcast called Gen Authentic. And she actually had me on. She was kind enough to do a podcast hosting me. And so that will actually be released later today. So if you guys would like to join in, listen to it, it'd be really cool to get this party started, at least for the beginning part of our row, as we start getting really focused and stuff. So that's getting released, and I'm really excited. I haven't even heard it yet, so I can't wait. That's how I'll be spending my evening, is listening to it. So hopefully you guys can listen and follow along and show Steph your support, because she does an amazing job. So we'd love to hear your feedback on that. And yeah, does anyone have any more questions for us?
Will you be doing a Q&A for after you complete and win the race?
If I have to say if I win, I will do it regardless if I win or not. Yes. And I will actually be doing that when I get home. So I will be coordinating with Suzanne and everyone, and you guys will have me come into the office, and I will actually be in person, whichever way I'm coming back, and we don't know. But yes, it will be in person, and we'll bring some really cool stuff for you guys. So I'm excited to do that when I get home. That'll be great.
Okay, don't bring any sand. You can't take sand off the island.
Well, unfortunately, if you know anything about sand, it sticks to everything. So I think I'm going to be washing sand out of my clothes for the next year.
Okay, that works.
You have to bring us all a gift from Hawaii. Just so you know, all of us. All
Okay.
like 900 of us. So it might be 1 grain of sand each.
Hey, I can afford that. Got it. Like, I can, a broke ocean rower can afford that. I got you.
Oh, and if you catch any pictures of those ocean warriors, you can send some of those.
I got you. Oh, I will. They are amazing. Everyone here, though, all the teams, this team right next to me right here, they are the other full U.S. team. There are only 2 100% U.S. teams here. There are obviously mixed teams, 11 different countries out of the 12 or the 14 boats, which is really, really huge. It's amazing. And these guys are from Salt Lake. So very exciting. Yep. Then they are in the special class for boats. As you can see, their boat looks a lot different than ours. And so, like, their solar panels are on the side. It is very fancy, very big and spacious. It's sized for up to 6 people, right? Yeah, these boats will hold anything from 3 to 6 people, where the Rannoch boats, the largest they go, at least for the R45s, it's a 3, 4, or 5-man team, but these go all the way up to 6, and they have a ton of storage. As you can see, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna pop over here. Do you mind? Cool. Okay, we'll come see their boat. So as you can see, like their cabins are a little bit different than ours. Let's see, their cabins are a little different than ours. On board, they have, see, their feet rest. It's very deep where they're standing, where we don't have that. And their oars are kind of affixed a little bit higher, where ours have to go in the gully and stuff. So everything here is a lot different. And like their rudder, if you guys watched the video yesterday, I got drenched. I had some waders on, and I really I got wet. But see their rudder? So now you can kind of see it up here. It's like this in our boat, but it doesn't come from the top, so it's a little bit different. But as you can see, we have our manual steering lines. These are tied up to where the rudder goes, which is underneath the boat. And that's how if we get stuck into a situation, we will, oh, there it goes, maybe. Hold on, there we go. Okay, so when we get stuck into a situation, if we can't use the auto helm, so the auto helm attaches to that, and it will just like go back and forth to keep us on a heading on our, so we can stay on course. But if you can't, what you do is you have these lines, the lines that were attached there. Let me see if these will turn around for me. Okay, so these right here, this line, this is our manual steering line. There's one on each side, and you just pull them. You will just sit there and you will have to pull them and adjust it, side to side in order to keep yourself on your course. And then that's where you'd use the compass on the boat in order to make sure that you can maintain that. But otherwise, it's attached like that boat like you saw in here, which is really cool. I'm glad that they have this open for me to show you. It's really neat. So their manual lines, or see how they're attached at the top there, and there's one that goes to each side. So that's how it should look. And so when the auto helm is on, it's already affixed to those. And that's how you can just pull your rudder back and forth so you can steer it. Yeah, there's a setup much easier to get into, but it's still the same concept, which is really neat. So I'm glad I got to show you that.
So do you still have to watch the boat and the compass as you go, even though the header is going, or is there a signal for you if you're starting to get off of track, or are you the backup plan?
We are it. So we have to know like where our heading, like where we're going. So we have waypoints. So as we cross, there are certain GPS coordinates which are called waypoints that you want to hit as you go across or get around that in order to make sure that we are hitting our final GPS coordinate correctly. The problem here is that the shelf, the current shelf is really rough. So that's why right now our time is at 10:30 is when they want to launch. And that's why we are going to be the first boat out. Usually it's the 4-man team or the largest team, and then it goes down. The last ones to leave are the 2 and soloist teams. However, it is so rough out there that if we don't get enough time, we won't get past that, and then it will push us into land. And so as a pairs team, you just don't have enough muscle to get past that shelf. So right now we're trying to get the start launch up to like 8. So 2 hours earlier in order to give us enough time to get past that. So because then once you get past it, the other problem is it's going to push you south, which then again, you can't necessarily have enough power to get further west. So the plan that a lot of people are doing is you're going to try and either head as far west as you can immediately because the current is just going to push you south, or you can go a little bit northeast or northwest, northeast, because it's still going to push you south. So it's, however, they're going to talk to each of the teams later today. And as we get the updates of the weather and things like that to know how we are going to maneuver what we're about to encounter. So if the auto helm goes out, or so those waypoints they give us, that's important because that's what we have to know. And that's how we put the heading on the auto helm. But something happens, if it's in too rough a seas, the auto helm won't work anyway. And so you'll have to manually steer. And that's where you put a heading. So say my heading, I want to be facing 150 degrees. I then would use the compass, and I would then look at that, and I would make sure to stay as close as I can to manually steer within 5 to 10 degrees. So that way you're at least going in a rough direction if that fails. So you are reliant on us knowing there's nothing setting it off saying you're going in the wrong direction. It's just we constantly will be checking that every couple of hours. When Owen gets up to go row, he'll make sure that since we do 2 hours on, 2 hours off, he'll be checking the GPS in his cabin to make sure we're within a certain coordinates. And if we need to make adjustments, then we will. Before he gets on, he'll make those adjustments. And when he gets off, he'll tell me if I need to make adjustments. And then we'll just kind of zigzag our way across the best we can.
Okay, I'm an accountant, and so we check each other's work. Do you check each other's work out there?
Nope. I mean, I could, but he'll have it in his cabin. Like, I'm not going to cross him in order to get into his cabin because it makes it really hard to walk out here when it's rocking and trying to get over. It's just not easy. And so I'm just like, I trust you. He was a soloist that rode the Atlantic. So I'm like, I think he's pretty good. So, if I was the one with experience and he wasn't, I might do a double check, but nah, I completely trust him. And that's kind of what he is. He's our skipper. So the only time, and I'm like the machine. So the only time that I would ever like maybe question it is if we get out there and mentally there are some issues that start happening, like if hallucinations are happening or if a medical emergency happens and for some reason we aren't in our right state of mind. That's when you might question it just to make sure, like, hey, let's just do a double check. But most of the time, him and I don't have those things, luckily. So I won't have any reason to check that probably. I trust him.
This is amazing. Thank you for sharing. I am so like, wow. Wow. Like,
You're so welcome. Yeah. Like if you guys have anything, you guys obviously have my cell number. You guys can get it. You guys can text me. I am on, speaking of accounting, I am looking to get some of the GL account figures so I can finish that project before I head out. If I could get those, I'd love them. And if they've been sent to me, please text me because I'm not in my emails. But that way I can get that project done before I leave. But yeah, if you guys have anything, just text me, reach out, ask me. I launch on the 12th. So anything before that, I will try and do my best. If you have any questions or any footage, and I'll post it on my social media pages so you guys can see it. And we'll continue that throughout our process until we leave.
Jayme, I have one question for you. It's Cindy.
Yeah.
I guess I was a little shocked when you said, if another team comes in like 24 hours later or something like that, what is typically the amount of time from the winner to the person who comes in first place to last place? I mean, is it like days or what?
So first place to last place. So, last year, the earliest team came in like 30 some odd days, and the last team came in 105 days.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but that was a soloist. So you don't have any soloists here, but it's a really big stretch. The year we did the Atlantic, it was the closest race ever in history. And that's because we didn't have any storms. We didn't have any issues. So, it made it a very slow year because usually a storm will hit within the first 200 miles and it separates the pack. So you want to get out before that storm, which is why all the teams, for the most part, push really far south. And then they go west on the Atlantic in order to beat that storm system because it kind of happens in the north. But it didn't happen. So it was a true fight. Like all 2-man teams came in within 48 hours of each other, which has never been done. Like that's crazy. All the 4-man teams were coming in with like 2 or 3 days for the most part of each other. Again, not common, which is really cool. But it's still from the very first person that crossed the winners. I think it was like 37 days. And then the last person across, I think it was like 80 some days, which was a soloist. So from the first to last, it's a huge span. But it just depends on the weather we hit. I mean, most years you'll have a day or two in between most of the teams.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little different. There, I mean, the race staff have to be out there the entire time. So, I mean, they're there for a minute. And some days they're really busy, and other days they're twiddling their thumbs. So, if we at all possible can, get the fleet really tight again this year, that's what I'm hoping for, because it just makes it more fun. Because then when you get at the finish line, you've got other teams that are there cheering you on, so then you can have that interaction with people that have just done what you've done. And it's just a really, really amazing feeling to kind of have that comfort with the people who just did what you did, and have that understanding with the same issues that you just encountered for the past, hopefully 40 days, if I have it my way. And it's just, it's really nice. So I'm hoping for that again.
That's awesome. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I know I don't want to take up all your time. I'm so glad you guys got on and asked the questions and got to see the boat and, got to be a part of this. And I'm so thankful, for you guys and all your support. It's amazing truly to have all that out here. Everyone knows of you. And so they love it. And we're just really, really excited that we got to present this to you guys. So if you have any more questions, send them my way. I'll make videos as I can. And I can't wait to see you guys when I get home in August.
It's going to be really fast for us and really slow for you.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yes.
blink and Jayme's going to be coming back.
Hey, let's just pray that's how it is. You got the payroll team and they're under control, so I'll be back in no time. You guys won't even miss me.
They are top rate. Not that you're not, but they are top rate. They're good.
They are. They're on this call though, so they know if anything happens, I better not get a call in the middle of the ocean. Come on now, guys.
We'll try to behave while you're gone, Jayme.
Please do. Please do. Well, thank you guys so much. I really am so blessed to have you guys be part of the family. I'm so thankful for your support, and thank you guys for all getting on and being interactive. It really means a lot. So hopefully we'll see you guys at the start here in a couple days.
Bye, Jayme. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck,
Bye,
Jayme.
guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye,
day.
Jayme.
Thanks.
Go get 'em, yes.